Parents of your children, you don't know what the world to be. Provide for them.
Good afternoon and welcome to Parents Love Your Children. I'm your host, Toro Sutton, and my co-host, Dr. Charlotta Sutton. And we have Miss Kalia Sutton in the studio that's going to share with us a collection of poetry. And Kalia, how you doing today?
Good.
Good, because
It is hot.
it is hot outside. You
Yes.
enjoyed it. Couldn't wait to get those shorts on, could you?
No.
Okay, the story that you, well, not really stories, but collection of poetry that you're going to share with us today, the story is entitled
Hip Hop Speaks to Children, a celebration of poetry with a beat.
by Nikki Giovanni. And I'll just read the introduction and then you'll go ahead with a few poetry that you picked out. As long as people have stories, there will be rhythm, rap, and hip hop. When humans were beginning to develop our own language, separated from the growls and the howls, separated from all the buzz and the bird songs, we used rhythm, a sound and a silence with no silence, the sound with no sound. The sound is silent, is a lonely owl flapping her wings against the midnight sun, seeking a careless mouse. The language of the people changed depending on the group they belong to. It's called vernacular. What's up, dog, is the language of hip-hop, just like dig it is jazz. Be cool is beatnik, but by any means necessary, a militant or I have a dream is a promissory. All are examples of language expressing the hopes, expressing the dreams and problems of a particular group. Hundreds of years ago, opera shared the stories of the people like hip-hop does today. Both take place in the public square, opera in the square of Rome, hip-hop in the porches in the street corners of cities around the world. Both have a lead voice telling the story with folk hanging around becoming the choirs, commenting on the action. Opera was how the simple truth about the lives of everyday people were told, right in the public square, so you know they were real. It's the same with hip-hop today. True hip-hop is made in the public square with all the people around singing and commenting on the action. Don't be fooled by the rap videos out there that extravagant and how bad behavior. That's not true. Those videos can be embarrassing and are not real. They cannot have been made in the square. Genuine hip-hop and operatic is bold and boastful and brave. For sure, because each makes us throw back our heads with a laughter, not hang our heads in shame. When we think of the sadness of American slavery, we cannot forget the ability of enslaved. They were not allowed to learn to read and write, but they needed to tell their story and remember their history. They choose to preach the call and response to, and remember their history. They choose to preach the call and response to, learn songs, to learn the Bibles. The preacher would sing a line and the church would repeat it. When that was repeated, the story was repeated and the story was learned without the rhythm. The stories of the enslaved could never have been passed along. In 1822, a slave named Denmark Vesey used the talking drum as a code to call his people to fight for freedom. His freedom run was unsuccessful and the slave owners outlawed the drum to prevent further trouble. But the enslaved had a secret weapon, creativity. They lost the drum, so they drummed on themselves. It's called ham boning. Snap your fingers, that's a ham bone. Hit your thigh, that's ham boning. Beat your chest, stamp your feet. That's a rhythm and a silence. You don't need a drum. You can be a drum. When we was awarded the Nobel Prize for Peace, Martin Luther King Jr. said, just say I was a drum major for peace. But when the Titanic sank, there was a famous rap called Shine. People, mostly fathers, uncles, and brothers, would have contests where they would cap on each other or play the dozens playful. Institute throw back and forth as a feat as possible. People would cap on your mom and on your girlfriend. You would have to answer back something like this. Your mama is old She was on the Mayflower. Shoot, your mama is so fat, she ate the Mayflower. It was a battle of words for who was quicker. It was the first poetry slam. It was entertainment of the people, providing by the people. Gradually, some people got so good at the dozens, they went professional and they provided the show for the rest of us. Most people became watchers rather than doers. From the Harlem Renaissance through 2 world wars, all people danced, but not that they may sing. The blues took the rhythm of the call and the response and added a musical beat. The good people who attended church gave us gospel, but it would be rhythm and blues, music that got the U.S. of A out of the square dancing in the street. The civil rights era gave African Americans public space again. Suddenly, city dwellers were bumping elbows on their front porches, barbecuing in tin tubs and trying to keep cool by sleeping on the fire escape. The people mingled and shared their hope, dreams, voices. It was a time ripe for culture change, and the change was coming. As hard times hit our nation, school budgets and many for teachers were the first things cut. We had lived through the era of segregation and the era of civil rights, but the 1970s was an era of meaningless. The public schools lost their funding for school newspapers, for their trips to classical music performance, for visits to zoos, for gym periods and showers, for hot breakfast, for all, and a good solid lunch. The school lost the bookmobile, the school nurse, the annual eye and ear exam, and counselors who believe you should and go to college. But more, the school lost their bands. There was no more money for instruments, for uniforms, or for the carol acts. But the kids struck back. No gym, break dancing, no band, scratching, no choral arts classes, rap. 30 years ago, kids invented a new sound. They took old music, added their new poetry, and found a way to have their creative voices heard. The hip-hop nation was born, sharing a contagious story of their hopes and promise with the world, and is the world ever more glad. Poetry with a beat, that's hip-hop on a flash. One part story, one part rhythm, and just like the church congregation for hundreds of years ago, listening to the call and response, the people embrace the rhythm, remember the stories. Rhythm is how I learned to spell. Encyclopedia from the Jim Cricket. And when you were born with a long name like Nikki Giovanni from the Giovanni got to rock the rhythm to get the name right. Today there is hip hop everywhere, all over the world. And if we could get to Mars, we'll probably find a group of young Martian, hats flipped back, pants on the baggy side, shirts down to the knees, busting some rhymes, challenging each other and freestyling, slamming for the money in the pot that was raised at the door, using a language we don't know, but a rhythm we have understood forever. The hip-hop nation at home and abroad, across the universe is kind, strong, intelligent, and free. Rap on, brothers and sisters, find your voice, create. The square awaits. Let's go and let's do hip-hop. Right, so that's the introduction, and here is part of the poetry. Go, Clea.
From Ladies First by Queen Latifah. I break into lyrical freestyle, grab the mic, look into the crowd and see smiles, 'cause they see a woman standing up on her own two sloppy slouching is something I won't do. Something that we can't flow. Stereotypes, they got to go. I'm going to mess around and flip the scene into reverse. With what? With a little touch of ladies first. Who said the ladies couldn't make it? You must be blind if you don't believe. We'll listen to the rhyme. Ladies first, there's no time to rehearse. I'm divine and my mind expands throughout the universe. A female rapper with a message to send. The Queen Latifah is a perfect specimen. Love Is by Common. How beautiful love can be. Oh, the streets love is hard to see. It's a place I got to be. Loving you is loving me. How beautiful love can be. On the streets, love is hard to see. Gotta reach that frequency. Loving you is loving me. The Harlem Night Song by Langston Hughes. Come, let us roam the night, together singing, I love you. Across the Harlem rooftops, moon is shining, night sky is blue. Stars are great drops of golden dew. Down the street, a band is playing, I love you. Come, let us roam the night, together singing. No Regrets by Aesop Rock. Lucy was 7 and wore a head of blue barrettes, city born into the world with no knowledge and no regrets. Had a piece of yellow chalk with which she drew upon the streets the many faces of the various locals that she would meet. There was Joshua, age 10, bully up the block, who always took her milk money at the morning bus stop. There was Miss Crabtree and her poodle. She always gave a wave and holler on her weekly trip down to the bingo parlor. And she drew men, women, kids, sunsets, clouds, and the drew skyscrapers, fruit stands, city, town. Always said hello to passers-by. They'd ask her why she passed the time attaching line to concrete, but she would only smile. Now all the other children living in near her building ran around like truants, soaking up the open fire hydrant. They would say, "Hey, little Lucy, wanna come jump double dutch?" Lucy would pause, look, grin, and say, "I'm busy, thank you much." Well, 1 year passed, and believe it or not, she covered every last inch of her entire sidewalk. And she stopped. "Lucy, after all this, you're just giving in today?" she said. "I'm not giving in, I'm finished." The walked away, 1, 2, 3, that's the speed of the seed, ABC. That's the speed of the need. You can dream a little dream, or you can live a little dream. I'd rather live it, 'cause dreamers always chase but never get it.
And that's the end of our poetry, and we will be right back after this brief break. Stay with us.
Who do I play high school softball for? I play for my mom and dad who've never missed a game. I play for the smell of my leather glove, the sound of infield chatter, and that incredible feel of the ball jumping off my bat. I play for sacrifice bunts and sacrifice flies because they've taught me what it means to be a teammate.
Whether they're playing for their teammates, their classmates, or their community, high school student athletes in Iowa learn important lessons they'll use for the rest of their lives, like respect for the rules, time management skills, and the value of hard work and sacrifice.
I play high school softball for my friends who decorate my locker before every big game. That's who I play for. Play for keeps. Play for fun. Play on.
This message presented by the Iowa High School Athletic Association and the Iowa High School Athletic Directors Association.
And we're back. Welcome to Parents Love Your Children. I'm your host, Toro Suddeth, my co-host, Dr. Charlotta Suddeth. And we had Miss Kalia Suddeth in here reading some poetry from Hip Hop Speaks to Children, a celebration of poetry with a beat, edited by Nikki Giovanni. And it also has
CD. A CD?
A CD inside that you can also listen to with when you are reading the poetry. You can go back and listen to the CD. Celebrate with remarkable poets include Eloise Greenfield and Lucille Clifton and Oscar Brown Jr., Tupac Shakur, and Maya Angelou and Queen Latifah. Nikki Grimes are also in here. And poems include Ego Trippin', Rapper's Delight, and also Hey Mama and Ham and Eggs. Everything is everything. And then, of course, Kalia shared with us Ladies First. And that one was by
Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah. Okay. So we're going to move. That's another story that you could add to your collection. And you also can hear the poetry, rhythm, and rhymes. It includes one audio CD inside. So poetry can have both a rhythm and rhyme. Sometimes it is obvious, sometimes it is hidden, but either way, make no mistake, poetry is as vibrant and exciting as it gets. And when you find yourself clapping your hands or tapping your feet, you know you found poetry with a beat. Hey, that rhymed. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, we're going to go ahead with our parent tips, and we do have a parent tip, and that is we have been seeing Eat Smart, Play Hard. We have been seeing these commercials where they're asking for students to start eating smart and to play hard, and you can make goals by kick off your day by setting physical activities. And here's how: sit down as a family and talk about ways to have fun and be active as a family. Write specific goals. Ooh, I almost couldn't get that out. For an activity that you can do, like walk. What else can you do, Kalia? Walk. Run.
Skip.
Ooh, you want to skip for 30 minutes? Jog. There's another one. Ride a bike. You can do these things 30 minutes every day. Goals like getting more exercise aren't specific enough, so you can do a lot of things like you're getting a dog, and maybe you can go walking with your dog.
Yes.
Come on, you gotta get excited here. You know, if you're gonna be a guest, you're gonna be walking your dog. You're gonna be moving and getting excited when you're moving. What do you do for outside for exercise?
Ride a scooter.
And
Run.
is there any specific games that you play?
Tag. Hide and seek.
Nothing like volleyball or basketball?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get. Okay, so you can also track your progress as well. You can go to the line, which I haven't gone to yet, but it's www.letsmove, and you can reward yourself. If you meet your goal, treat yourself, download a new song to walk to. You know, the favorite one that we find every 15 minutes is what? Marshawn
Devon
Glover. He's the AM host here, and he does a 15-minute workout. Yeah. So you can also listen to him for 15 minutes. That'll take you, what is it, from 8:15?
To 8.
Or is it 8:30 to 8:40?
I think it's 8 to 8:30.
No, it's 8:30 to 8:40 because you're on your way to school, and we know that we're late if he comes on before we get to that building. So you go at 8:30, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you can also talk about your activity goals as family meals. Talking about goals help you stay on track.
It's 15 minutes. It's 8:30 to 8:45.
8:30 to 8:45. Okay, 8:30 to 8:45. Thank you. I knew it was something like 8:30 to 8:45, 15 minutes. And so Don't forget that you can listen to that as well in the mornings, and don't forget to make sure that you have fun while you're doing that activity to let's move. So when does a child learn to read? Many people might say in kindergarten or first grade, but researchers have told us something very important. Learning to read and write can start at
4.
home. Long before children go to school, children can start down the road to become readers from the day that they are born. Very early, children begin to learn about spoken language when they hear their family members talking, laughing, and singing. And when they respond to all the sounds that fill their world, they begin to understand written language when they hear adults read stories to them and see adults reading newspapers, magazines, and books for themselves. These early experiences with spoken and written language set the stage for children to become successful readers and writers. Mothers, fathers, and grandparents and caregivers, it gives you ideas of playing, taking, and reading with your child that will help them become a good reader and writer later on in life. You don't need special training to experience or expensive materials for your baby or toddler. You can just include some simple fun language games and activities into the things that you already are doing together in everyday situations. For your preschoolers, you can keep in touch with your child's teachers so that you know what he or she is learning in school and support that learning at home. So we're going to go over the short summary of scientific research shows how children learn to read and write, things you can do with your children from birth through age 2 to help them become readers, things you can do with your children between the ages 3 and 4 and what to look for in quality daycare centers and preschools to help your children become readers, lists of helpful terms throughout that appear to you that you may want to take more time with, ideas for books to read and organize the contact. If you would like more information, I'll give you that as well. Remember to keep it simple and have fun, and also make these activities part of the warm, loving relationship you're already creating in your child. For several decades of research, it has been shown a lot about how children learn to read and write. The research tells us that to become skilled and confident readers over time, young children need lots of opportunities to build spoken language by talking and listening. Learn about prints in books, learn about the sounds of spoken language, learn about the letters of the alphabet, and learn to books that read aloud. Talking and listening, remember the old saying, children should be seen and not heard. Researchers tells us that for children to become readers, they should listen and talk a lot. Do you listen and talk a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes you do. By the time children are 1 year old, they already know a lot about spoken language, talking and listening. They recognize some speech sounds. They know which sounds make the words that are important to them. They begin to intimidate those sounds. Children learn all of this by listening to family members talk. Every baby talk. The sounds and rhythms of words make a contribution to children's ability to understand language. Children who do not hear a lot or talk and who are not encouraged to talk to themselves often have the problem learning to read. The information comes from many researcher studies that examine early literacy development. The reports and books listed in the booklet and on the back of this booklet offer more research-based information about how children learn to read and write. Print and books, even though books don't come with operating instructions, they are used in certain ways. We hold them right side up. We turn the page one at a time. We read lines of words starting at the left and moving to the right, knowing about print and books and how they used to call print awareness. So what to do at home? Begin talking and singing to your child from birth. Do you remember anyone singing to you and talking to you at birth? You probably wouldn't remember that, but I do recall that your mom was always talking and singing to you and reading books to you. So you are a good reader, correct?
Yeah.
Your baby loves hearing boys play peekaboo and patty cake. Recite nursery rhymes or other verses that have strong rhythms and repeated sounds. Sing lullabies and other songs. Keep them motivated. Let your baby know that you hear her babbles and his coos and gurgles. Repeat the sound that they make. Smile back. When you respond to their sounds, they're learning that what they say means something and is important to you. Sometimes you can supply the language for them. Read to your child. Make reading a pleasure. Read to your child in a comfortable place. Have them sit on your lap or next to you so that you can see and point to the print and pictures. Show them that reading is fun and rewarding. Do you like reading the poetry?
Yeah.
It's a different kind of book, but you know, you can also take that and listen to them as well, how they're reading it in a poetry way. So show enthusiasm as you read to your child. Be excited about the book that you're reading. Read the story with expression. Make it more interesting by talking the way the characters would talk, making sound effects, making expressions with your face and hands. When children enjoy reading, being read to, they will grow to love books and be eager to learn to read them. Read to your child as often as you can. Set aside special times for reading each day. Maybe after lunch or at bedtime. The more you can spend time with reading, the better. As long as he or she is willing to listen, read times can be brief, about maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So what to do at home? Continue to read to your child as you did when they were an infant and toddler. Also, and some new and more challenging activities, you can talk and listen. When you do something together, eat, shopping, talk and walk, visit and relative, talk about it. Take your child to new places and introduce them to new experiences. Talk about the new, interesting, and unusual things that you see and do. So when you went to Washington, D.C., what did you talk about?
I talked about the Martin Luther King Monument.
Okay.
And the Lincoln Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And the George Washington Museum.
Oh, wow. You just had a lot of fun.
And the Capitol.
And you saw the Capitol, but you didn't see the president, huh?
No.
Didn't see the president. So while you were learning that, you were able to show the excitement, what you learned, and you shared it with your mom and dad when you got back, which we was jealous about, but you know, you had a good time, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it's talking about, doing different different things by taking your child somewhere, and would they be able to share what they've learned back to you and tell you what they learned together. So reading together, keep reading to your child, read lots of different books. Reread if you want to the favorite books, even if you get tired of them before they do. Don't let them know that you're getting tired of that book, but you can reread them, the book of their favorite. Read predictable books. Well, what's going to happen next? You know, read those kind of books. Your child will begin to recognize repeated words and phrases and have fun saying them back to you. Read what we just did. Read poetry and other rhyming books to your child. Yay! I did not know that was going to be in here. I must be on the right track.
Yeah.
So read those kind of books. And we're just getting excited. I just want to throw in, it's okay to throw in about May 9th. I want everyone to make sure that you save that date for our banquet. We want to see you there. All the Parents Love Your Children group, we want to see you in the audience. And we're trying to get out as much as we can to publicity and to get it out. May 9th is coming around the corner. Save the date, and we want you there. We want to add that part to our show, how important it is for our banquet that is coming. So in closing, parents, love your children. Remember that reading unlocks the doors to our future. And close me out, Clea.
Bye.
Goodbye. Ooh, I wanted to throw that in.
I can't wait till midnight though.
Maybe we can do Live Deadbeat Voice.
I don't know that.
The Black Anthem song.
Oh, to the angels ring. To the.
Till earth and heaven ring with a harmony. Let me not ask me that. That's still not on, is it?
It is on.
You got me singing on the video. That was fun.